Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. Acha, my editorial today is slightly broad-based. I'm going to talk to you about the Supreme Court verdict on Maharashtra. I'm also going to talk to you about Supreme Court verdict on Delhi. And I'm also going to talk to you about governors and their roles. Let's get right into the show. So let's first talk about Maharashtra. Maharashtra, I was very confused with the Supreme Court verdict. In fact, I have done an interview with Advocate Sharma, constitutional expert, Supreme Court advocate, and he has beautifully explained the entire verdict. So please do go watch that. In fact, I'll attach that link to my show. And do watch it. Do watch it because it's really explained very well. So that's number one. But let me tell you what I am confused about. I am confused about the fact that the Supreme Court says that Eknath Shinde had no right to appoint his whip because the whip is not appointed by the legislative party. It is appointed by the political party. Therefore, Uddhav Thackeray had the right to appoint the whip. Eknath Shinde didn't have the right to appoint the whip. Number one. Number two is the Supreme Court says the governor, his intervention was unconstitutional. He should not have called for a floor test. That was unconstitutional. Based on that unconstitutional decision, Uddhav Thackeray resigned because Uddhav Thackeray said, listen, if there is a floor test called, I know I may not win. What is the point of me standing in that floor and losing? So he resigned. Whether that is right, that is wrong, we'll debate that different. But the resignation was based on the governor's decision, isn't it? Now the Supreme Court says that decision is wrong. But the Supreme Court says we cannot reinstate Uddhav Thackeray because Uddhav Thackeray resigned. Question again. Uddhav Thackeray resigned because of an unconstitutional intervention of the governor. Now, because Uddhav Thackeray resigned, the Supreme Court cannot reinstate him. I didn't understand this concept. Because had that unconstitutional decision not been taken, Uddhav Thackeray wouldn't have resigned. Wouldn't that be logical? Number one. Number two is Shinde didn't have the right to appoint a whip. Uddhav Thackeray had the right to appoint a whip. So, if all of this is wrong, then why are those MLAs not disqualified? Why is the government not disqualified according to Supreme Court? This is the question I didn't understand, and I'm asking this as a layman. I'm not saying whether the decision was right, decision was wrong. The Honorable Supreme Court knows what it is doing, but these are questions that comes to a layman's mind. Number one. Number two is after all this observation, Supreme Court leaves it to the good judgment of the Speaker to take a call whether to disqualify those MLAs or not. Acha, now who appointed the Speaker? The Speaker is being appointed by the Bharatiya Janata Party and Shivsena, which is the Eknath Shinde Shivsena. They appointed the Speaker. Who do you think the Speaker will listen to? What decision do you think the Speaker will take? So if all was, these are things which are so obvious. If this is what it was supposed to be, then why have all this discussion? Why have all this case? Why have all these debates and arguments and all that? Why? Now, I understand that, the observation given by the Supreme Court is for the Speaker to keep it in his mind so that these are the parameters in which he should be taking a decision. Is the Speaker obliged to take the decision based on the parameter of what the Supreme Court says? The answer is no. So then why this observation? And over and above all of this, why this case at all? Why this case at all? You could have said Speaker ko decide karna hai, jo Speaker bolta hai. You would have saved all this time, no? This is the question I had in my mind, and as a layman, this is what I thought. Now, that's number one. Number two is, if I do anything which is unconstitutional, I could be jailed, I could be penalized, I could be fined. I am a common citizen of India, and rightfully so. Now, the Supreme Court judge, Chief Justice of India, says that the governor of Maharashtra shouldn't have intervened, which means he did an act which was unconstitutional. What happens to him? What happens to him? Is he not going to be punished? If he is not going to be punished, why is he not going to be punished? Because I will be punished if I do something which is unconstitutional. So why would he not be punished when he is doing something unconstitutional? So is the law different? Does the governor function based on certain law and a common man like me function based on some other law? Are there two laws? I didn't understand that. The Supreme Court himself said, the Chief Justice of India said that was his intervention was unconstitutional. So that's my point number 2. Now let me get to, like I said, mine is slightly broad based. Like I said, again, I'm telling you, watch that interview with Advocate Sharma. Brilliantly explained. He has explained the judgment very, very lucidly and very well. So please do watch it. Now, let me get into Delhi. Let me get into Delhi. Delhi, a 5-judge constitution bench headed by Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, held that the legislature has control over bureaucrats in administration of services, except in areas outside the legislative powers of the National Capital Territory, NCT. There are 3 areas outside the control of Delhi government, which is public order, police and land. The CJI went on to say that the legislative and the executive power of the government of National Capital Territory of Delhi over entry 41 shall extend over to services related to public order, police and land. However, legislative and executive power over services such as IAS or joint cadre services, which are relevant for the implementation of the policies and the vision of the NCTD in terms of day-to-day administration of the region shall lie with the NCTD. Okay. Now, I will try and explain to you what I understood as a layman. The problem is, in Delhi, the Lieutenant Governor and the Chief Minister has a tussle over power. It is almost like schoolboys fighting. The Lieutenant Governor wants to have control over bureaucrats, wants to have control over IAS officers, IPS officers, wants to have control over the state. And the Chief Minister, obviously, he is elected, he too wants the control. Now, if he can't, imagine if his bureaucrats are transferred without even his knowledge, what chief ministering will he be doing there? What chief minister will he be doing there? There are 3 powers given to the LG in Delhi. Number 1, it is right as it is rightly put by the Supreme Court. Number 1 is the police administration. Number 2 is the land administration, that is the land. Number 3 is public order. So public order, police and land. These are the 3 powers that are given to the LG. And he should be only bothered about those 3 powers. Here, the LG is trying to extend himself. Isn't that unconstitutional? My same question again. If an LG is behaving unconstitutional, if a governor is behaving unconstitutional, what is the punishment? I mean, think about it. Think about the way governors are functioning today. It is like watching 2 football matches. It's watching 2 teams play a football match. One team, second team, tough match going on, and the referee comes in the middle and hits a goal for one team. How does it feel? That's exactly what is happening in Indian politics today. That's exactly what's happening in state politics today. The referee, who is supposed to be the governor, he comes to the field and hits a goal. He hits a goal for a particular team, and we all know which team. And at the end of the day, he says, oops, aisa hua kya, galti hua kya? Okay, theek hai, I will resign and go, Baba. I am too stressed. I can't play any more politics. I want to go. And he resigns and goes off. Khatam, story over. Government falls. New government comes up. Voters sit and watch what is happening. Isn't that the situation? I mean, somewhere down the line, this has to stop. Somewhere down the line, even Supreme Court has to take decisive decisions. They have to be decisive. They put people behind bars, don't they? They penalize people, don't they? They sack people, don't they? Why does nothing happen when it comes to governors and others? Only statements happen. Only statement happens. So this is the question I leave you with. Think about it. Please write down on the comment box. Please write down what you feel. It's important you react. It's important we understand this. It's important we talk about this. It's important we make this into a discussion. Because end of the day, if this continues, democracy won't. So that's the choice one has to make today. Till I see you next time, that's tomorrow at 10. Namaskar.